Yes, I do agree that the academic world in Bulgaria is a bit slow. We don't have so much traditions like for example here in the USA. Yesterday I understand that there is a company called Amazon Science. So basically they have created their own science institute, and a lot of scientists are jumping from the traditional university ecosystem to this company now at the moment because they want to do cutting edge technologies.
Okay, I will pass this on because I'm going to talk for the next 20 minutes.
My name is Stoyan Yordanov. I'm a researcher in the Italian Institute of Technology, and this event is really nice because it helps and improves the communication between different parts of the ecosystem. So on the question how we can improve this ecosystem further, I will start with this. When I was a student almost 20 years ago, I realized that if we don't have a strong industry in Bulgaria, we cannot have strong science, because industry has resources, and it's also one of the factors in the world who helps and invests in science. So at some point, after a lot of talks with different people from academia, industry, investors, I realized and condensed an idea I called Bulgarian Technological Institute, that it can be seen as a joint venture between industry and academia to have an institute which is focused on producing and developing working technologies which leads either to commercialization or like patents, startups, or the like. And of course, 50% of the time is also dedicated to pure science, because both are connected. If you know about Fraunhofer institutes in Germany or Italian Institute of Technologies, they use a similar model. But here, I'm thinking about what we can improve further. We can integrate also concepts and remove weaknesses which they have, and get a structure which is like you take the best from academia and the best from industry and put it in one structure so that they work very, very close together. But it means the industry will have to fund this structure, not the government. So it will be like a privately owned institute. I don't know if it's possible to do this in Bulgaria, but this is what I do as a project in my spare time. Even today, I had a conversation with one of the company from your cluster, Visteon is called, also with some software companies, because they are mature enough to realize that working with knowledge, working with talents who uses this knowledge is the key to their success. And for example, I can give you an example. So we want to have a very strong ecosystem, then we need to jump directly into the cliff, which means jump directly into the big things. For example, can we develop a large-scale space program in Bulgaria, build rockets, launch satellites, missions to other planets, and so on? Because if Elon Musk wants to go to Mars, I want to go to other star systems using super light speeds traveling. And if you think it's not possible, it's possible theoretically. In 1994, scientists showed it possible, but it requires the environment. So such institute would be one of the factors in the environment, which also would help the universities, Bulgarian Academy of Sciences, and so on. The conversation is long, but yeah, this can be a good and nice start. Just making you aware of such possibility. I don't know if I have question to Ludmil. This is just a comment. I don't know. Yeah, if you understood my point.
If you allow me to add, of course, Visteon is the biggest R&D center in general in Bulgaria, with more than 1,000 engineers. One of the projects we are trying to promote at Automotive Cluster for the last several years is the creation of a huge private R&D center, because also now the automotive industry is coming into the next phase with all of the autonomous driving features. So every car is basically drone. And now the security is something which is becoming very, very important. And if you want to work on the latest project together with international partners, then you have to have a specific standard. It's called TISAX. This is a standard for information security, and nobody in Bulgaria currently has. So the ecosystem you have to create, it's not only the people, it's the whole environment, including the building, the surrounding itself. And this is the way to go further, and we will to be able to participate in some of the biggest projects in the automotive industry. Yes, I agree with you that the software is not an innovation by itself because it's a software, but one of the most important innovations in the future will come from the software industry. Doesn't matter it's automotive or other kind of industries.
On a research we did with Vanres, which will come out soon, we analyzed a little bit the ecosystems in Germany, especially in Berlin and Munich, and which are quite, let's say, old ecosystem in terms of spin-off and technology transfer. And we found out that they adapt to the circumstances of time and stakeholders. So also in Bulgaria, maybe we have to focus on our strong points from an ecosystem view and adapt our models, of course, with best practices from international other ecosystems, but to adapt it to our own capabilities, own skills, and be active where we are strongest. Now, Christina, what is, as I mentioned, the grand dame of Bulgarian ecosystem, what is your point of view?
Actually, it's a great opportunity discussing the Bulgarian ecosystem as the fundament of creation of a spin-off as a culture, and having so many international background, having you all next to this discussion, which is great, which means that there is a good know-how. There is a Bulgarian and foreigners which are actually passionate about Bulgaria and how to increase our result. I can share, of course, personal stories when I meet you all, starting with Stoyan, who is actually living abroad, but the passion for the Bulgaria is quite strong. He is a person who is having a strong communication with our Bulgarian diaspora, PhDs, scientists, Bulgarian, which are all over the world, and he making this connection, which is amazing. And for sure, we will support this project because I found it very interesting. Of course, Andy, when he's trying to explain the idea paid forward and how the ecosystem supposed to support each other, and the question from the audience was, okay, how much? Where are the money?
Yeah,
there is no money.
But Christina, before I go on, I want to reply something related to the Berlin ecosystem. An ecosystem is not feasible without legislative support and incentives. So before you create the legislation to support innovation, spin-offs, this entire ecosystem of doing something moving forward, you need the legislation and you need the support and you need the financials and. So as long as this is not bundled, you can talk about it, but you cannot implement it. So that's why our push goes towards the governments, and an unstable government situation is not helpful. So eventually you're just turning around in a circle and in a circle and in a circle because you talk to new people all the time. And this is something we do in the course of Industry Association Digital. When we started with the previous government, even though we're a private organization, we're not bound to anything happening by the government. You still need some form of endorsement. You still need some form of a support and understanding that we're all moving in the same direction, because one party moves here, the other party moves there. So our approach as Industry Association Digital is strongly based on the model pay it forward. I, as a company, obviously I earn money out of what I do. And at some point you reach, you pay your tax, you do whatever you need to do. But then you have a product, which IT product, for example, which doesn't cost you anything, to just give it out to companies to facilitate the digitalization. And there are plenty of such companies out there. Since we started, kicked off Industry Association Digital in Sofia on the on the 7th of June, with the support of then over 50 ministries and private organizations and associations and whatsoever. We already collected 50 million levs in value, which we can provide to organizations. In our organization specifically, there is no money involved. We don't collect any money. We don't get any funding to do it. It's a private initiative just with the goal we have to overcome certain levels to bring people digitalization, which hardly a handful of people really understand. So this misbelief, a spreadsheet is digitalization. I have a laptop, I'm digital, or I'm just receiving, somebody sold me an overpriced website, which has practically no visitors. This is digitalization. It's not. So we're talking about very advanced topics when we talk about spin-offs, when the majority of people, and please note that a very, very small percentage of innovation which can lead to a spin-off actually comes from university. If you see this on a European and a global level in a less than 2-digit percentage level. So maybe, yes, we're focusing in the right direction, but the approach might not be perfect because we need to take the industry along. We need to take SMEs along. We need to take those people along which have the ideas to create a spin-off, to develop something, and then we need the incentives for this to happen. And this comes from, well,
Yeah.
I don't mean God. I mean, it comes from the government.
I need to share about my hat in this panel because I have a lot. But of course, tomorrow we have more dedicated time over the European projects, over the European observation. We will go deeper to in detail what's happened in labs, in business, what are the models, the ecosystem. But in this panel, I decided to represent very interesting also initiative, which is called Bulgarian Innovation Forum, which was inspired by your Commissioner Maria Gabriel March this year in order to shortage this connection between the Bulgarian ecosystem and the possibilities that European Commission provides. We all know that so far the results were not on our side. So therefore we are trying to resolve them to see what are the major problems that we have here, why the results are so bad for us, and of course how to increase our chances. The interesting part connected with Bulgarian Innovation Forum is actually that we discovering for really, let's say, a painful topic for our ecosystem. It's coming from us. And the thing is that those problems, those needs are very well covered by the new European Innovation Agenda, which was officially announced on 7th of July from Maria Gabriel. You remember that little bit in an hour ago, I asked specifically how actually the Bulgarian innovation agenda is combined with the European one, because inside we can see a lot of fantastic things. Of course, it is about regulation, how to motivate more and more companies to create the spin-offs and deep tech technology by providing them some tax raise, taxation, or with working and providing a good environment thanks to infrastructure, next to ecosystem, but also inside there is innovation valleys to promote and stimulate and to support the regions which are bad in result when it comes to innovation. And of course, female entrepreneurship. Tomorrow we'll have a dedicated panel. I'm quite passionate about it. Probably the only thing where Bulgaria is standing at the top is the good know-how and the good example, how many females are involved in tech and how much of them are actually succeed by having very strong startups. But this will be for tomorrow. The Bulgarian Innovation Forum, tomorrow news. And of course, we're going back to discussion, having 4 working groups. Of course, the first of the working group is connected with one-stop shop. We understand and realize that it's very hard in Bulgaria to find one place for innovation. where you can meet people, when you can understand what happened in Bulgaria, and to have this source of information to support you. The second group, which I lead, is connected with deep tech education and, of course, talent, which is actually the biggest issue everywhere, not only in Bulgaria. And next to this group, I really appreciate, and I will really glad more and more people from our audience from this event to join, and of course to think how to shortage the process, how to stimulate more and more young people going on academic career. Because right now when I speak with the student, what do you think about academic career? They said, what? Why? Everybody to laugh at me. So we need to change. This is a culture. This is something that depends on us. And the last thing connected with the Bulgarian Innovation Forum on 26th of September, Maria Gabriel will, together with Bulgarian Innovation Forum, we are making a huge conference with directors of EIC, EIT program, Horizon, Digital Europe. So of course, all of you will be sent invitation, and I hope some of the things and some of the outcome from today to be represented in front of the pages. I will be a moderator, of course, as usual in some of partially of the event. So any kind of a feedback that you can provide me, it is quite welcome. So yeah, okay.
Maybe a question to Stoyan from a researcher perspective. When you work in a university, how do you see and how do you connect with the surrounding ecosystem? That's like the first part of the question. And the second is a researcher more influenced by like the market or the ecosystem, investors, corporates, or is it more intrinsics? So the question is, do you take inputs from outside, or do you is it inside out or outside in more from a researcher perspective? Like, do you watch the market, or do you provide insights to the market and they should make products out of it?
Thank you for the question. So the answer, there's no one answer, depends on the place. There are places which works more closer with the industry, and there are places which are more focused on purely scientific part of the story. But in the context of Bulgaria, the problem is that in Bulgaria, we lack the connection with the industry, while in other places they might have institutes more fundamental science, so not so much interaction with industry, but they also have institutes who interact with industry much stronger as well. But in Bulgaria, we lack this connection with the industry, I think, and it's good to develop in this direction. So yeah.
Thanks. With the time, I don't have one more question. Do we have one?
Okay, I have a question to you. What is the secret most ingredients of creation of a successful startup, from what you know and from your experience, to all of you?
Okay, and such general question, sometimes it's difficult to answer. What is the key to never give up? Even if your startup, whatever, doesn't matter what is does not work, just continue. You will, in the process, you will learn a lot. Even if the startup fails, actually many ideas on the way of running the startup will come up. So once, and sometimes which happened with me, is that once you kind of like this, then it might be forever for you, although it's difficult. So the thing is that you must keep in mind that if you want to become entrepreneur, it means you must like pain, continuous pain and problems. So it's not for everybody. It's only for people that cannot imagine doing anything else. Otherwise, I would not recommend it.